So today guys, we're going to be giving this Honda Civic EF a full interior cleanup. For you who haven't seen my last video, which I posted yesterday, to catch up on how I got the Civic, go give it a watch. And if you did see the video, you'll see how mank it is inside. For the start of this video, I'll give you guys a good walk around and show you basically the state of the car. So to start off with the driver's footwell. This is about 2 years of getting in and out of the car. The seats were like new and they've now got holes in them. They're stained, especially the passenger seat. By the look of it, his dog used to live on this seat. Take a look underneath it. Oh my god. On the dash, yeah, it's just never been cleaned basically. Covered in grime. The whole thing is just disgusting. The rear seats is practically made of dog hair. Really badly stained. That's why I've got the wet vac. We're going to give it a full, basically a wholesome clean. I have to use this broom to hold the boot up because the rams are shot. Yeah, Mackie cup still everywhere, McFlurry, the old style cup holders. There's like water in the boot which I want to get rid of before it rots through. All the trims are just absolutely mank. So now I'm just going to cut to a few little snippets just to give a transformation point of view. So I'll give you those now. So now we've got the ugly bit out of the way, I'm going to start off by pulling the seats out of the front. They're not reclinable, so I won't be able to get into the back. So I don't know how well these seats are fitted. They're really quite high off the floor. I think they might be like the stock sliding rails of the OEM seat that have probably been welded to these aftermarket bucket seat bases. We will find out. I can't actually make this slide back or forward, so I don't know whether it does slide back and forth or there's something blocking it. Winner, just found £2. So as you can see, it is just full of like rubbish, dog hair, backy trimmings. It's going to be good to see it all clean. Just found the missing rear light that's off the rear bumper, which is a good thing. Maybe even a pair of new wipers. Oh, deal, this one moves. There's like seeds here. I don't even know why. Massive hairball. It's just, yeah, not very pleasant. So that's why I've pulled the seats out, so we can get to the whole carpet. I'll even pull the centre console piece out just to make sure I get all the hair out of there, because like stuff staying like that will keep the scent in the car. Did you just look at that? That is disgusting. I do not like that. Oh my god, that one is rounded. Oh, it's all good because they've snapped it anyway. This is the most disgusting car I've ever owned, by far.
Nice little chimney.
Oh, I don't know actually, yeah, once I had a chimney that was just as bad. I'll pull this panel off before I can get the other one out. Never fear, because it's all in bits anyway. Oh, the moth that's just flown out there. Oh, this is just disgusting. Right, now I'll empty it all out and then we'll start hoovering. We'll do a dry clean first. So I'm just going to pick through the rubbish. There are like loads of trim clips, like bolts, screws, and just various other interior pieces, exterior pieces, I don't know. But I'm just going to pick them all up separately because they are always handy. Maybe they're not for this car or they're for something else that's not in the car anymore. But it's always handy to have, so I'll go and pick all these up and then we'll start hoovering. So I've just been through the floor, picked up all the screws, emptied all the cam belt covers and brackets and stuff out of the front passenger footwell. I've gotten rid of all the rubbish and all the big bits that the hoover won't be able to pick up. So instead of just dragging it out, I'm just going to time lapse me giving it a quick dry hoover, and then I'll show you the results after the dry hoover, and then we'll move on to the wet vac once the whole interior has been dry vacked. Let's go. Okay guys, so I've done one pass of just dry straight hoovering, no brushing or anything, just hit it with the hoover, and these are the results already. So the rear passenger footwell, driver's side, rear passenger footwell, driver's side, the rear driver's footwell is looking 10 times better compared to the passenger rear footwell. Taking the shit off the top has made quite a drastic change. The driver's footwell on the other hand, that's going to take some going because the mud is like really thick in the carpet. So I've got a drill attachment with a brush and we'll loosen it all up before I hit it with a wet vac. And yeah, so I'm going to carry on hitting the other side. I'm going to switch over to my GoPro now and carry on the time lapses with that. So just dry vac the passenger footwell. Now to move on to the worst footwell there is. Oh my god. I've never seen nothing like it in all my time. Let's continue with the time lapse. That there was one complete pass with a dry hoover, and these are the results so far. You would not believe how hard it was to get all that hair out the carpet. I had this super duper spinny whizzy boy to like lift and brush all the hair out the carpet as I went across. Did a really good job. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to keep hitting it again because this driver's footwell has thick mud that's like embedded in the carpet. So I'm going to use that little, what do we call it, hoover attachment. And hopefully if I just keep running it across it, I want to try and lift as much mud as I can out before I start wetting it down and wet vacking it, because it will just soak more mud deeper into the carpet, which we're trying to avoid. When I lift it all out dry, if we can, it'll make wet vacking a lot easier. So instead of time lapsing it again, I'm just going to hit it and hit it until I'm happy with it. I'm also going to give these rear seats a good dry hoover. I've not even touched these yet. So I'll give you guys a little look as what they look like. Again, there's even like fag butts everywhere in this thing. It's just disgusting. Over there's a clump of hair. Anyway, so I'm going to hit this one more time with a hoover, try and get as much mud out of the driver's footwell as I can. See you guys directly. Well, 10 minutes of straight vacuuming on one half of the rear bench, and jeez, take a look at this. So here's what it's like beforehand. The chair is basically brown. Bearing in mind this is just a dry hoover, just 10 minutes of pure hoovering. What a difference already. Mental. Boy, my arm is aching. So I'm going to continue, get the other half done, make sure basically the more effort I put in with the dry vacuum, the easier it is going to be for me when I come to wet vacuum it. I'll probably end up pulling this rear bench out completely, hoovering underneath it, getting right through the back of the car, making sure everything's all hoovered out, get all the loose stuff off, and then it'll be wet vac the entire carpet, wet vac the rear bench, wipe down all the plastics inside, the roof, the dash, everything. This is probably going to take me more than one day, so I'm going to just keep trooping on and we'll see how we get on. Wow, there's a lot of crap in here. More plastic trims. I have no idea where that even goes. Oh yeah. The rear lights. Somehow. Oh. So we're going to get the bin bag, clean out a couple bits of rubbish, like Mackey's cups, Mackey's drinks holders, McFlurry spoon, a McFlurry. Just loads of shit. This is by far the worst car, like, for just filth wise I've ever purchased. I just can't bring myself to do something like this. A coilover spanner that is almost like rotten through. I don't even think you can move it. Check this out. Coilover spanner. It's so rotten, you can't even move the head of it. Mad. I have no idea what that is, and I do not want to know what that is. Gooey, soggy and stinking. Drill bit, more screws, more cable ties. Oh, there's like a sand pit in the back. Oh my god, that's in there. Jesus Christ. That is rotten, isn't it? Oh. That was seized in there. It's just a thread that runs in through here. That should be straight. In the bin. I ran out of time for today. So far the last bit I've done, I cleaned that boot out. And it looks really good, to be honest. The boot is actually blue, not brown. I've gone round and cleaned all these interior trim panels, a few bits up here. Yeah, it's coming together well. Today I've done 3.5 hours straight, just hoovering, cleaning, wiping, scrubbing, yeah. But now we're actually finally starting to see improvements, so we're getting there. So guys, it is a new day. Yes, and it is raining, it's wet, it's miserable. I'm not too keen. So as it's 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to get the hoover out and just start making loads of noise because I have neighbours. So my primary focus of this morning is to get all the dash wiped down, cleaned, get the door cards all looking mint because they are hanging, and just basically wipe down all the surfaces and make it all look fresh, clean the wheel, etc, etc. I don't want to get the hoover going at this time in the morning. Let's go. So I'm just going to start off with a bucket of a tub of soapy water and a sponge. And I'm just going to pretty much wipe everything down with this first, just to get the worst of the mud off. Oh, this is going to take a lot of work. There's like mould that's grown into the door. See these like black spots? It's like mould, and there's just, I'm going to have to get some sort of antibacterial disinfectant stuff to do this again, but it's starting to get there. I'm going to go around, finish the rest of the dash and all the plastics with the soapy water stuff, do all the rear door cards and stuff, and I'll catch up with you soon. Wow, 2 hours later, the door cards, the dash are looking good. I'll show you how I ended up going about it because it didn't quite go as planned. So basically I started off with just using the sponge and the soapy water, wiped down the whole door card. It looked good, nice. Walked away to go and grab some Dettol and some water glue rubber trim care. Going back, and as it dried you could see all of the dirt still in the pattern of the door. You see all that texture? So the mud really got into there. So I've just spent a solid hour with some Dettol wipe and this little brush, the whole car front end, and then I hit it in with Dettol in the places where there was mould. As you could see, like all along here on the lighter half of the door card was all like mould was growing out of it, and it was quite hard to get out. But here's the results. I did a final little touch up with some vinyl and rubber care. This stuff is awesome, smells amazing. It's like a cream, it protects trims and dash, and it's all come out lovely. But I do have to hold it there for this morning because I've got an appointment with a friend to pick up some parts for this little something or something that I've got lined up. And potentially, if all goes well, I am actually picking up the little something or something today. And I'll start filming that today as well. So I'm going to pause this job here. We've come a long way. We're about 5 hours in. Getting there. But for now, I'm going to go and pick up this little something or something. I'll see you guys in a bit. Guys, day 3 of the interior EF restoration, I'm going to call it. I have no idea. We're making good progress. I can't really remember where I left off. I've slept since then. I started this car on Saturday, did a little bit on Sunday morning, had to shoot off to go and collect some parts, and I was meant to arrange to pick up this new little something I've got, but it's coming tomorrow night after work, so we'll get to that. I'll give a little recap where we're at. So far, we've dry hoovered the floor, vacuumed the rear seats, cleaned out the back. You can see the bottom, it's blue. I've given this a wipe down and a cleaned all the panels in the back. Spent 2 hours cleaning the door cards and the dash, and it has came out gorgeous. Well, Trevor, the dashes came out. So for the start of this segment, I'm going to pull out the rear bench to get underneath there and just hoover up all the crumbs that are underneath the bottom of that, and I'm going to dry hoover the both front seats out, so then we'll get all the dry vacuuming out of the way, and then we can smash out the wet vac, because that's going to be a long process and I don't want to have to go back to dry vacuuming once we've wet vacuumed it, because it's just a nightmare. So I pull the rear bench out, dry vacuum under there, dry vacuum the front seats. I'm not going to film that because that's just boring, and I'll catch up with you guys when the wet vac's out. Rear bench is out. I've dry vaced the seats, so they are looking 10 times better. You would not believe how hard it is to get hair out of Velcro. So one of these puppies, and you just got to scrape it out. Underneath here was mank as well. I've given it a little brush off. I will wipe it down properly later on. But now it's time for the main course, shall we say, is actually wet vacuuming the carpet. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this cap off, and all I'll do, I'll spray this, soak all the carpet lovely, and then I've got a drill with a brush head on it, and then we'll just massage the carpet, lifting all the dirt up, and then we'll keep running and sucking it all up. I'm going to time lapse that, and I'll keep updating you guys as we go. So I've wet the carpet, I've hit it with a brush, now it's time to suck them up. This is the worst bit, or my favourite bit. So, I've whacked back the first driver's footwell. It's just like, I'll spray it, brush it, lift the mud up, and then it looks like it's coming good and it pulls more mud up from the bottom. So I think I'm going to have to hit this a good few times. Unfortunately though, it is like 8:30 and I do respect my neighbours, so I'm not going to take the piss and carry on. So my plan of action is to try and get this done as soon as possible, else it's going to take me weeks, because I can only do like a couple hours an evening by the time I get home and sort my own life out. I'm going to like take a seat to work, wet vac it at work on my lunch break, and then do another seat the next day, do the rear bench, or depends how long it takes, but those seats are going to take a while because they are pretty grey. So it's like a slowly and gently thing, because I can't be making too much racket out here, because my neighbours will get pissed right off of me. I don't want that. So yeah, that was part 3, or should I say day 3. I've spent about 7 hours now doing this. It's savage, but it just shows like you leave your car 2.5 years getting dirty, it's going to take a very long time to get it back to how it should be, and it is taking a very long time, but I don't mind, it will be worth it in the end. Like with all these interior trims and panels over here, I'll probably just take them upstairs in the house and clean them in the sink. And I've got like these caps are off of where the seatbelt rail sits. Those caps, I'll pull them off when I come to doing the rear to wet back the carpet. But for now, it's time to pack up and go and have some dinner. So guys, the carpet is out of the car. I started wet backing. I managed to get a few passes over the driver's footwell, and it just was not getting any better. We got the main majority of it out, but every time I get past and across it, it would pull the mud out the bottom. And due to the fact that this is all like wavy and it's not flat, it was so hard to get suction and yeah, keep pulling it out. But as you can see, it was just going to keep coming and coming. So I pulled the carpet out. I'll take the carpet to work and use the wet vac there, because once again, I only get evenings to work in my car and it's just too loud. I'm too late already. And then, just to top it off, whilst trying to undo the little seatbelt mount that runs here, the bolt let go, but it wasn't the bolt that let go, it was actually the car where it mounts to. So it looks like where the car's had welding before underneath, if you can see that on the camera, there's actually some welding wire there. So they've welded underneath it, but they haven't actually got onto this point here. And I know that when the welding was done, it was like over 2 years ago, so it probably just kept growing. So once again, like with rust, if you don't kill it all and get rid of it, it's like cancer for cars. It will just keep coming back, so I'll have to address that, chop it out, you know, go through it all. But so for this episode, guys, I'm going to leave it at that, because I don't want you guys sitting there for like half an hour just watching me pull the car apart. We've seen some good results already, and we are getting there. So part 2 of the interior refurb of the EF will be nice and clean, all fully reinstalled. I'm looking forward to it. So thanks for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed it so far, give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.